After 10/7, the world went silent, and that silence was deafening. And not only did the world go silent, after the silence, the fingers were pointed at the victims.
In the aftermath of the October 7th tragedies, Kesher Shalom was born with a mission to equip therapists and the Jewish community with the tools needed to support during tough times. Our skilled trauma experts have already empowered 2,000 therapists worldwide. This year, Kesher Shalom unveils transformative workshops and support groups delving into trauma treatment, Jewish history, and parenting. Kesher Shalom supports individuals, organizations, synagogues, and agencies. Connect with us at admin@keshershalom.com to discover more about our services. Come join us in our inclusive Jewish parenting groups, support groups for college students, as we create spaces for all ages to connect and heal. Let's journey together towards healing and resilience. Sign up for our newsletter now at www.keshershalom.com/newsletter for exclusive access to free meditations and relaxation techniques. So my name is Julie Riga. I'm a leadership coach. I have been working with Kesher Shalom over the last few months to help bring some of these programs to life. Today we're going to address some topics around conflict resolution due to the impact of what has happened on October 7th. The impact of anti-Semitism and its emotional toll within the Jewish community has been a real concern. And so what we're doing here is we're trying to help you to navigate some of these emotionally charged conversations so that you can maintain balance in your life. We're trying to help you rise above some of these circumstances and give you some tools and techniques to really make yourself in a place of strength, and that you would be able to manage some of these strategies to represent the Jewish community in a positive way, to foster balance, to give you some chances to feel empowered. And so today we're going to talk about conflict resolution and what tools and techniques we can use to help bring us into a place of harmony and health. So a lot of the information that I'm going to speak about today is taking from the book Crucial Conversations, which is a book that a lot of people have heard of and know, and let's get right into the content. So the first thing I want to talk about is this idea of being real and respectful. And so being real and respectful is really one of the most core foundations of our conflict conversations. We want to make sure that we are able to state the truth, even if it's hard to do it. And we want to avoid masking the truth. We want to really stay in a place of shared meaning. And the other thing I want to talk about is having this healthy dialogue, is that being able to really listen in for pain points and struggles where people are not really able to grasp what you're saying, but to have the patience to continue the dialogue and just show kind appreciation for the person and their viewpoint, because you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And so being able to be cool, calm, and collected, and to be able to share truths in a way where you're not getting upset and the other person is not getting upset is really helpful. And even if they're getting upset, if you're not getting upset, you've already won the battle, because you've had control over your own self in that moment. Because the hardest person to deal with is ourselves. Because the minute we get into that fight or flight moment of time where we lose our control is the part when things start to go bad. And what happens when things go bad is that they get to a place where we're going to either go silent or violent in some of these conversations. We want to make sure that we're staying in that pool of shared meaning and that we're not going silent, which means avoiding, masking, or just ignoring the truth or ignoring what's going on and kind of hiding in our own little bubble. We want to stop from doing that. And then what we also want to do is not go on the opposite side of this, which is controlling, labeling, attacking. We want to keep our calm. We want to be cool, calm, and collected during these conversations. And so where we really need to be is this place called the pool of shared meaning. If we could stay there and we could do some check-ins with the people we're talking to, then we can have some really good conversations and we can really, really hone in on what is going to be amazing and good for the conversation. So staying in the pool of shared meaning, not going silent, not going violent is really where we want to be. Let's have a self-awareness moment. Could you identify your potential style under stress? Are you going silent? Are you going violent? Or are you staying in the pool of shared meaning? Let me know in the chat what it is you do under stress. I would love to know, because these are the things we need to do to help ourselves in these moments so that we can be clear on the way we're going to position ourselves, and then we can have the self-awareness. And I have this idea of going to the balcony so that you're able to look at yourself from the balcony. You're able to see what you're doing and watching yourself and what you're doing to see where you potentially could be going silent or could be going violent. So just be aware of what you're doing in the moment. Try to be as present as you can. The next thing I want to speak about is evaluating. Evaluating the moment, seeing what our boundaries are, understanding what our limits are, and understand the matter at hand. Really try to understand your position in this topic and understand what you're willing and not willing to talk about before the moment of time that's going to happen. You may or may not decide to get into some of these conversations, but if you do, understand what your limits are. And then clearly define your objectives of the conversation if you need to with the person you're speaking to. The other thing is we want to view the potential mindset of the people that we're speaking to. And I'm going to share some information on that in a moment. But we want to understand, is the person we're speaking to a person who has a fixed mindset or a person who has a growth mindset? And we want to really understand what that mindset is. And then we want to look at the timing and the place. We want to evaluate, is this the right time and place to have this conversation? Should we be having it at other times? Should we be getting a meeting time in a place where we can discuss this? What is going on in that moment? How can we do this in a great way? So the next thing we want to do is really hone in on, does this person have a growth mindset? Is this person curious enough to have a conversation like this with me? Is this person going to want to learn from the discussion, or are they just looking to hold their opinion? Because like I said, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. And if you're having some of these conversations, you may be wasting your time on certain individuals if they're not going to be listening and curious. So you want to make sure that when you're having some of these conversations that you're not engaging with people that are fixed. Because somebody who is fixed will not want to listen to you. They will want to believe that everything they know to be true is true. They will not give up their opinion. They will not be able to want to engage in those conversations. So we want to stay thinking about our audiences at all times when we're in these conversations. Is it worth having the discussion at this moment in time? Will this person want to grow and learn something new? Will they want to hear some things that they may have never heard before? And so really looking at, is this a worthwhile conversation to have in the moment? And I know there's a lot of very difficult things going on right now, and some of them are beyond our control. So it's a matter of you putting up your boundaries and saying, look, these are the conversations I'm willing to have, and these are the conversations I'm not willing to have. Very calmly and very much with a sense of love and light. We want to be able to share this information in the most loving and light way that we can. And providing that it's been a very hard time, that we just need to evaluate and have the self-awareness about what we're willing to do and what we're not willing to do. Thank you for listening to this broadcast, Resolving Anti-Israeli Conflict Conversation. And please take the tools that we learned today to help you have better conversations. Thank you for listening.